Good evening, Facebook. I'm Nate Flews. We interrupt your news feed to bring you a breaking news alert. Sources are reporting to us that former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has been arrested after killing a goat who had hair just like the president, the Republican who beat her bigly in last year's election. Leaked emails published from a private servers by the WikiLeaks organisation, and definitely not Vladimir Putin, documented the attack, which took place shortly after the election result was announced.
Now, you might think this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but the phenomenon of fake news, or at least its recent rise as a go-to buzzword with regards to all sorts of media coverage, especially in the last 12 months, can be seen as a real concern. Has the general public really had enough of experts? By removing hurdles and barriers in the processes of creating and spreading content, has the web shifted society towards one where all you need to become an authority is a Facebook page, a green screen, a catchy headline, and a bit of controversy? Is social media to blame for the rise of fake news? To quote Craig Silverman, a media editor at BuzzFeed, the term fake news has almost been rendered meaningless at this point. It means a lot of different things to different people. And it's certainly something that appears to have come from nowhere. Google Trends shows interest in the term as negligible until October 2016, before reaching a peak in January of this year. But what could possibly be behind this?
Your organization's terrible.
Fake news is far more than just a term that's used to loudly discredit media outlets from an influential political pedestal. When combining the two words, one might think about articles that are utterly false, just like the story our friend Nate was reporting earlier on his Facebook page. And just like that, hundreds of sites sprung up from communities like the Macedonian town of Velez to provide political coverage of dubious origin during the US election. Why? Advertising. Big, bold headlines are nothing new in media, and Samantha Subramaniam for Wired profiled teenagers who earn 10 times the average salary of their peers through Google ads on their content about false topics like the Pope endorsing Donald Trump on usapolitics.co and dailyinterestingthings.com. Posting these in pro-Trump groups with repurposed Facebook accounts could lead to thousands of shares, even if they had no grounding in reality. Author and former WikiLeaks worker James Wall perhaps says it best with the title of his new book, Post-Truth: How Bullshit Conquered the World.
But is social media to blame for this opportunity? It can be quite hard to tell where links are coming from thanks to homogenised presentation. And with the average Facebook user only 3.57 connections away from 1.59 billion others, even one share has a wide reach. Even if people don't click through, headlines can spread, get shared and draw attention as algorithms pick up on this activity and amplify the content. When Facebook ended human curation of trends, the Washington Post found 8 inaccurate stories there in just 6 weeks. Established publishers are having to go bolder to keep and grow their audiences. Online reporters tell us that Reddit and Twitter are essential sourcing tools, and The Independent recently ended 30 years in print for the online-only viral content of Indie 100. The rush to get quick online buzz can also hinder fact-checking. Just last month, The Sun ran a story on a child getting kicked out of a vegan's party because they were wearing a cow onesie, despite the story coming from well-known satirists. Andrew Chadwick, a professor of political science at Royal Holloway, points out our changing information ecosystem and online environment that makes publishing easier for everyone, whether a reputable news organisation, an individual with a grudge, or just a Macedonian teenager.
However, post-truth like this has always existed regardless of social media. Influencing reporting is nothing new in political campaigns. The Killian documents leaked to CBS News in 2004 about President Bush's National Guard actions in the 1970s were later proved to be forgeries. In the World Wars, governments used propaganda effectively to turn the public against each other, and newspapers still frequently have to issue apologies for their poor or biased reporting. But this doesn't absolve the responsibility of social media providers. Mark Zuckerberg seems to be reluctantly accepting some. He's gone from saying fake news having an influence over Trump's election was a pretty crazy idea to a 6,000-word letter on how his company plans to handle the subject and appointing 3,000 content checkers. And it may be that policing content like this is beneficial to accuracy in the democratic process, but it can be argued that it's not the role of the network to decide what is truth. In fact, reacting to fake news like it's a brand new concern might not be the right way to do things. Writer Clay Shirky described the approach as bringing fact-checkers to a culture war, and perhaps the best strategy is to resolve it at its source.